Hey everybody, Ron Carruthers here, and I am at an undisclosed location in Del Mar, and I am going through and getting the latest on tax laws and all kinds of stuff so you don't have to, and you know it's serious because I got a tie on. So they're going to bring me lunch in a second, but yesterday we chatted about the biggest risk to your retirement. If you did not watch that video is awesome. Not because I say so, but because it talks about a really overlooked risk that a lot of people don't realize. And so today I wanted to give you a quick update on the 3 retirement strategies so you can look for which one's best for you and your situation. And start thinking about this, whether you're young or old, doesn't really matter. And then tomorrow, we're going to dive deep. I'm going to go back to the whiteboard, dive deep into a case study, and kind of show you an example of how to do this. So anyway, back at this event, we got Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup for the Soul later. Forgot about that. So, by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ron Carruthers. I'm the head of Carruthers College and Finance Solutions. And we work to help families avoid losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily. So anyway, when it comes time to retire, in yesterday's video, we chatted about how the sequence in which you earn money, your returns, can really have a big difference on how long that money lasts and whether you have a nice smooth landing, to use an airplane analogy, or whether you turn around and crash before you hit the runway. So today we're going to talk about those 3 strategies. So the first one actually was invented right here in San Diego by a guy named Bill Bengen. It was in the 90s. Bill had an interesting career. I forget what it was, but it was something totally not related to finance. His company sold, and so in the early 90s, he got him one of them computers, and he went through and ran math to figure out how long money would last and at what rate you could take money out if you adjusted for inflation and worked through life expectancy. You would know his work most likely as the 4% rule. So Bill Bengen is the guy who came up with the 4% rule, which basically says it's a strategy. Take 4% of your retirement portfolio each year once you retire, and it is supposed to last through your life expectancy, and you are not supposed to run out of money. Here's the catch to that, though. Catch number 1 is, back in the 90s when Bill ran this, people lived to mid-70s, not mid-80s like they do now. So that's catch number 1, kind of this strategy. I mentioned it yesterday when I said that, are you applying 20th century retirement strategies to a 21st century retirement? So the number 1 problem with it is it wasn't designed to last through your 80s. It was really only designed to last through your 70s. And basically when he ran these calculations, what he figured out was that in every aspect, you would go through and you would be able to live under all these different market conditions to your 70s, not to your 80s. That's the problem. Second problem is, when he ran the models, he ran them at 60% bonds, 40% stock market. The problem there is, back then, during the previous decades that he was looking at, bonds averaged 6 to 8%. Now they're averaging 3 to 5%. I've actually written a white paper on why we hate bonds, and particularly bond mutual funds, and what to do instead. If you put a note in the comments there and let me know you want that white paper, I'll direct message it over to you right out of there. I'm in a conference for the next couple days, but we'll get it over to you. So it's a bond white paper on why bonds suck. And one of the reasons is that they have all the risk of the stock market, none of the upside. The second is that they turn around and can lose money just as fast as the stock market can, but without any of the upside. So in this portfolio, he was doing 60% bonds, which you couldn't do now because your return on that would be 3 to 5%, not 6 to 8 like he was estimating. And so that really was a big deal when he went through and trying to figure out, by the way, there's a third reason we're not crazy about the 4% rule. I'll be damned if I can remember what it is right now. Sheesh. I got up early to work out. Shouldn't have done that because I'd be down here for the conference. Anyway, I'm going to get back to you guys with the third rule when I remember what it is, the third reason. So that's a strategy. The problem is one bad year in all of that, particularly if you have more than 40% of your portfolio in the stock market when you're retired, can turn around and take down that entire strategy. you can run out of money years earlier. Now, the second strategy is what's called the flooring method. And the flooring method is basically where you look at your base expenses and you floor those costs. So you say, okay, I'm spending $5,000 a month. I'm going to get guaranteed income for those $5,000 a month. Now, Social Security is a method of guaranteed income. On top of that, though, they have things called asset-backed pensions, which is simply where you're buying your own Social Security via a third party, and they're guaranteeing to pay you for the rest of your life. So that strategy says, we're going to figure out your Social Security, figure out how to maximize it, which is the subject of a whole other video. Then we're going to turn around and we're going to figure out the difference and buy guaranteed income that adjusts for inflation for that difference, and then you can do whatever you want with the rest. So that's the flooring strategy. The third strategy is where you go through, it's the bucket method. And Fidelity talks about this and some other companies and stuff like that, where you go through and you get a bucket of investments and you measure them, go real conservative in 5 years or less, a little less conservative, 5 to 10 years, and then a little more aggressive, adjusted for inflation, a little more stock market weighted, 10 years plus. So that's the bucket method. Which one's best for you? That requires an individual conversation, but I will tell you this. We really favor mixing the second and third approaches, and that's kind of what we recommend to our clients. So when you think about that, most people have never really considered how do you spend it. The 4% rule gets all the love and all the press and all the, this is what you should do. By the way, Morningstar even said that really it should be more like a 2% rule these days. So if you wanted to live off $100,000 a year, that means you'd need some ridiculous amount of millions so you don't worry about running out. We've got a much better strategy for that when we combine the second and the third to work that out. So for today, I'm going to end the call, but that's what we're doing for right now. And we will be back tomorrow with a case study where I'll show you how to improve your rate of return by reducing your risk. It's going to blow your mind. All right, so that's it for today. We'll talk to you soon.